Hello friends! Welcome to Squared Plans. I'm Stephanie and today we're going to be setting up our health planners for the next week in September. And I've got these pens here from Tombow ready to go, as well as this water brush pen, this blending palette, which is just plastic, and these sticker books, which I'll pull from. Okay, so this week I was inspired to do a spread in this similar kind of alcohol ink looking texture. And so I just grabbed some scrap paper and tried out some techniques using water-based markers. I just put a little bit of marker there, as you can see, on the blending palette, which is just plastic, put a little bit of water on it, and then pushed it down onto the paper. That created a pretty similar look to the alcohol inks, not exact, a little bit more watercolor maybe, but sometimes it really came out more inky than it did watercolory. When I did the samples, it tended to be more inky, but when I did the final on the sheet, it was more watercolory. Of course, it always happens that way, but I'm just going to go ahead and use it anyway. I did this all ahead of time using those pens I showed before and gave it time to dry, so that was kind of key. I didn't want to use this with it still being wet because then it would, bubble up on the paper, and I didn't want to put it directly onto the planner page because the water would definitely make the planner page bubble up. So using it almost like a scrapbook paper, and that really helps so that the page doesn't get affected as much. It still does create a little bit of bumpy texture on the page because you're sticking down this wobbly piece of paper, so just keep that in mind. But overall, I thought this was the best technique to not affect the things on the back sides of the pages. So right now what I'm doing is just measuring out the two sides that I'm going to be using this on as background, and am cutting it to size, kind of taking into account how the ink is already laid on the page and just picking the best place to make my cuts. So I'm doing that now. And I just got a rough estimate of where it's going to be first so that I don't cut too much and am just using the page itself to eyeball things. I have my little cutting mat here and my precision cutter, which I love. Both of those things are part of my favorite things and are in the description if you are looking for those in particular. So just doing some trimming, like I said, kind of cleaning it up. The paper is pretty thick. I'm using the same paper that I use for my actual planner pages, which is a thicker, like 120 GSM paper. Not super thick, but thicker than standard copier paper. So my pen doesn't really, or my stylus for the precision cutter doesn't cut that deep. So it takes a few times sometimes to cut the paper through, or just pushing extra hard, which is one of the reasons why I love that cutter, because it works perfect cutting directly on the page with stickers and it doesn't cut through the paper, but it does make it hard to use as just like a straight paper cutter, if that makes sense. But I figured that would be the best way to do it than trying to do it with scissors, because I always cut crooked with scissors. So we are trying this and working with the ruler instead of trying to just manually cut it. I think that is a safe bet for me. I just used a piece of scrap paper for this. I try not to waste paper whenever possible, so when you see me pull out test sheets and things, I just have a stack of like bad prints or things that I ended up not using or that are just one-sided that I'm not using anymore. I always try to reuse things. So on the back of that is some random meal planner sheet that I had that I never used, and I just used it, but can't really see through it because the paper is really good quality. And there you go. Waste not, want not. So I've laid down the background already onto the sheet and laid some wax paper over top of it so that I can lay down some stickers and just see how things will play out now that I've got the background in. So I thought I might use this long box here in the sidebar, but I cut it and then realized I really didn't like how that was looking. So tried to layer it, but it just didn't come off like I thought it would. So I'm back into that color story sticker book and I'm looking for some other options. I'm also trying to figure out what I might put over here on my Saturday, which is my rest day. Always looking for some kind of decor to pull in there. And as I was going through the few pages in this theme within the color storybook, found that heart, which I liked. I also found this banner, which I thought might work, but it was a little bit weird. And I settled on this to-do sticker, which I think works well. I'm also bringing in some strips that kind of look like washi strips, or sticker strips, I guess would be a better way to call those since they're not really transparent. And I'm figuring out what I want to do with the food log area as well. So I thought for a moment I might bring in some more of that watercolored background somewhere else. Trying to figure out how else things might lay in. And surprisingly, that looked pretty good to me. I had the sticker strips across using that quote as part of a continuation of the strip. So we're going to go with that. I think that brings in the right amount of that inkingness that I mentioned before. And I might use this background here behind in the sidebar, but I'm going to cut it so that I can use the pieces separately. And I think I'm going to cut this out kind of like a sticker where I trace the outline of it. Not my favorite. I couldn't quite figure out how best to do it and not encroach upon space using the solid white kind of box cutout like I did in the background at the top. So I just trimmed it out. And thought I might use this other piece down here in the corner maybe, or on the side, but we'll just put that to the side for now. And now I'm in my watercolor goals sticker book. I thought that there might be some elements in here that I could bring in. Again, the alcohol inks and the watercolor both have a similar feel, so I thought I might be able to pull those in. But there's a lot of pastels in there, and trying not to use too much pastels. I really want this to have more of a bold look. So I'm in my planner, or well, my fitness accessory pack, which I've doubled up. I have two of them and I just put them together into one. And I'm bringing in some boxes here for tracking my workouts that will just lay right on top of that background. This book is pretty great, this accessory book pack thing. It's just different colors of very functional stickers for fitness and health. So I picked up, I think 3 of them when they were on clearance because I did use them quite a bit, especially in the beginning of the year when they first came out. But yeah, this is a really nice go-to for health spreads, colored boxes, workout focused, and just tie in well with many of the different color schemes available. So I've just pulled boxes that are in that pink, purple, teal color scheme, kind of sticking with that as the main colors. And now I'm in that same accessory book and I'm looking for some food log stickers for some color down here at the bottom. Originally I was going to use that strip. I was thinking I would cut that up and use that, but it didn't quite work out like I'd planned. So we're going to do something a little bit different here. And I'm just pulling in that same teal, pink, and purple color scheme. And I thought maybe I would bring in this blue, but I don't think that's going to work. So we're going to go ahead and stick with the purple tones. And now I'm back into the Color Story sticker book, looking for some options for more of that true alcohol ink color scheme that's available in that sticker book. I really have a mix here now of kind of softer tones and deeper, bolder tones. So I want more of the boldness to be on the spread. So I'm trying to cut up this sticker here and see if I can bring that in to add that bold feel. So I've already cut off the quote that was in that box sticker, and now I'm cutting it into strips so that I can maybe use it down here for where I put my stats. Also maybe in the sidebar as well. And at first I thought I would just kind of do a continuation of the stickers down in columns, as you can see me laying them in. One thing I didn't really like about this is that they're a little bit fatter than the food log stickers. So I'm going to go ahead and try out some different things, see if I like that better. I decided that I was just going to lay them on their side and try to match up the colors so that they look more like a washi strip, similar to what you're seeing at the top with the actual sticker strips I pulled earlier. This one, it would be all pink, of course, but I think that there's a real strong pink presence here in the spread already, so I don't think it will be too distracting that way. And because, like I said, the pink was so strong, I had almost like a peach toned food log sticker that I really wanted to trade out, so I went ahead and did that. I also found another one of those hearts in that similar color scheme from the sticker strip with the bolder color, so I'm going to try to bring that in here on Saturday. I'm just looking for something else, a quote maybe, or something to just kind of finish off that space. And there's only one sheet of quotes here on the accessory books, but I think I might be able to bring in part of this long quote that says, "Believe in yourself." I didn't want to put in the gold part of it, which says "always," because I didn't want to introduce gold into the spread. I just wanted to keep it all with these pink, purple, teal tones. So I just cut that off and have "believe in yourself," and then bringing in maybe one of these hearts as a finishing item there. And I like this pink one, but it just didn't fit well with any of the other things I'd laid down. And I like this now circle sticker as well, but again, just didn't quite have a good home for it. So okay, I think this is a good place to move things over and get things laid down. I'm going to go ahead and glue down this kind of background inky color for the sidebar. And then I'll finish gluing down the background now that I feel comfortable that it can be committed to the page. I'm just trying to flatten it out a little bit with my ruler as I lay it down. This kind of helps create less wrinkles. And I'll get started moving over the food log stickers. And that looks good. going to go ahead and put in the sidebar as well. I'm going to trim off a little bit of this arrow that sticks out. And bring in this quote. I'm going to soften the corners a little bit to kind of match up better with the soft corners on the box sticker above. And also kind of trim it out with this little strip. And I'm going to lay in the sticker strip right between the two sections so that it overlaps a little bit. And now I'm going to try to move over the bottom pieces, see how that looks. And that one looks pretty good, feels continuous. Go ahead and move on to the other center section with the quote. And then these workout stickers. That was crooked, just made an adjustment. And then I'm going to put in this quote, the heart, and move over the rest of these kind of strip stickers, trying to match them up as best I can. Again, I really wanted it to look as continuous as possible, so we're going to try that. Flipped one, so it looked a little bit better. There does seem to be a hard line there in the middle, but I think the rest blend pretty well. I'm now going to draw in my habit trackers just using those same brush pens that I showed you in the beginning, and this line it up, check it off stencil I got from Happy Planner. I am just going to vary the colors, and you can kind of see the technique I'm using here for drawing those in. Just using 4 first and then shifting it and doing 3 in between those. Fits perfectly right there in between and makes a great habit tracker if you're going to make them yourself. And now I will be putting in my stat stickers that I'm going to print with my foam memo printer. If you want some free templates, do check out my video showing you how to use a foam memo printer. In the description there is a link to 9 or 10 free templates of these same stat stickers that you can use on your own spreads. So have at it, just check the description below, it will lead you to that video. And once I get these guys in here, we will be done, friends. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch. And think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Bye!